Hi guys, I hope that you're all doing really well. So today I'm going to be filming a video on the best releases of 2024. Now, before I get into the video, I first of all want to say that I am just speaking about the fragrances that I own within my collection, and I would consider these fragrances really, really great releases of 2024. At least these are some of my personal favorites. However, I have not smelled every single release of 2024. So this is just my personal list. It's always good to keep that in mind when you watch my videos. And there are some amazing stuff in here. I have to say there is one fragrance in this list. And if you know me, if you follow me, you will probably expect which one it is. But there is one fragrance that really is the biggest standout for me of 2024. The rest of them, of course, I really love and I really enjoy, and I think that they are great releases. But there is one specific fragrance in here, and I will leave it to the end, so you guys have to watch this video. And this is the one that I would consider to be like the best release of the year. So let's get into it. Honestly, guys, I have a really weird like sinus situation going on right now. Like, not to go on a little rant, but I have really bad allergies and also like sinus problems, which is from my mom. She's always had sinus issues her whole life. So I'm so congested, you guys. Like, I can barely smell these days because of the sinus issues and hay fever. I'm sneezing. Like, it's just awful. So if I'm a bit off, that's why. I'm going to start out with a fragrance that I loved from the second that I smelled it, but the more and more that I wore this scent, the more and more I fell in love with it. This is probably up there as top 3 for me from this brand. It is Maison Crivelli Tubereuse Astrale. Now, I have to say something. So I know that Hibiscus Mahajad is like the popular one to own. It's the hype monster and stuff. And I'm not saying this because it's popular, but something about Hibiscus Mahajad for me personally just became a little bit unwearable. I don't know why. I think it's because it's super strong. It's also very sweet and very intense. So when they released this one, I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, I don't know, am I gonna like it? And when I smelled it for the first time, I immediately had an impression like, wow, like this is really beautiful. And then I started to wear it, and my gosh, you guys, I fell in love with this scent. Tubereuse Astrale is this beautiful, spicy, sweet, woody tuberose. It's very complex, very unique, but wow, is it beautiful. There are not many fragrances in my collection that I could even say smell remotely similar to this. This really stands on its own 2 feet, and I absolutely love this. For me, this smells super just wow, like elegant, powerful, sexy, unique. Very, very unique, and it is just a beautiful fragrance. But you have to be a confident person to pull off this fragrance. A lot of the Maison Crivellis as well, because they are very like beastly sort of scents. So you have to wear them with a lot of confidence, in my personal opinion. So Tubereuse Astrale, definitely one of my favorites. Sweet, spicy, warm, woody tuberose. Absolutely gorgeous. It does have a slight like bubblegummy facet, but I find that most sweet tuberose give off that kind of vibe. It's absolutely beautiful. Longevity and projection is incredible. It lasts on the skin for hours and hours. I actually took this fragrance with me on summer vacation. So I was wearing it during the summer in Europe. At night, this fragrance was just blooming in the most beautiful way. So absolutely one of my favorite releases. I haven't worn it too much, to be honest with you guys, but every time I've worn it, I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. And for me, a fragrance that I travel with is a great fragrance. Like, it has to be a great fragrance if you pick it to go traveling. So keeping the theme of the red bottle, I'm also wearing red today, is a fragrance from Widian. Now, I would say that Widian in general for me was a really great discovery of mine in 2024. Now, don't get me wrong, this year I didn't discover the brand for the first time. I've known about Widian for many years, but I have never owned anything from them, nor have I spent a lot of time with the brand. This year, however, that completely changed, and I fell madly in love with the brand, the fragrances. I have been wearing them so much, especially in the second half of the year. And I recently got Yasat, probably about 2 months ago, I would say. This is stunning, you guys. This is a stunning release from the brand. Now, I will show you the bottle up close. It's just so beautiful. I love the branding of Widian. I really feel like they have a very distinct DNA throughout all of their fragrances. Cardamom, caramel, and sandalwood scent. You really feel that type of DNA when you smell this fragrance. This is all about cardamom in the opening, caramel, and a lot of soft kind of creamy woods. It's sweet, but not overly sweet, but it's just so addictive, you guys. This is kind of sitting in the same universe as something like Gris Charnel from BDK, but I would say Yasat is slightly sweeter, and it's just amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. I love this one. Is it the most unique profile that I've ever smelled? No, it's not. But is it done incredibly well? Yes, it is. So for me, I feel the need to own both Gris Charnel and Yasat because I do feel like they're different enough to own both. But I just love, you know I'm a sucker for this cardamom and caramel DNA. I have cardamom and caramel in my own perfume. It's one of my favorite kind of note combinations. And in Yasat, it's just so beautifully done. I'm almost like scared to show you the next one, guys. So we have Guidance 46. Now, the reason that I say that is because if you guys know me, if you watch me, you know that I really don't like the original Guidance. I can understand completely why people love it. And objectively speaking, it's a fragrance that I would personally consider to be a masterpiece. I think Amouage and Cantambiche did something incredible with Guidance. Like, obviously they didn't reinvent a new raw material or something crazy like that, but they really just created this iconic fragrance. And I think it is super rare. Like, it happens every few years or so where a brand will release an iconic fragrance. And I really feel like Guidance is an iconic fragrance. What they did with that scent is really special. Love it or hate it, it's a objectively incredible fragrance. So anyway, when they released Guidance 46, I was expecting not to like it as well because, as you know, I tried really hard to like Guidance and I cannot do it. It's very loud. It's not my type of scent. It's just too much for me. However, when they released Guidance 46 and I tried it, I was like, okay. I feel like they did something there. They kind of balanced the notes, made them a bit richer, and it just somehow clicked for me and I fell in love with Guidance 46, you guys. This happened pretty recently, like maybe a couple of weeks ago. I started to wear the scent and then I started to crave it. That's what happened. I started to crave it. I didn't crave the original Guidance, but I was craving the 46. This is definitely a sweeter, richer, deeper, denser version of the original. It still has the Guidance DNA, absolutely, but they've taken it into a more kind of sweet, rich, kind of creamier version. It feels just incredible. It feels like the pear note in here has been stewed in something. Like, it's just really good, you guys. If you didn't like the original Guidance, I would recommend checking out the 46. Of course, do not blind buy it. Don't do anything like that. It's way too expensive. But if you didn't like the original, I would suggest trying this one. And I noticed something super strange. I feel like the people that love the original don't really love the 46, and the people that love the 46 don't love the original, or you're somebody who doesn't like either. So you just have to go and try them and see if you think it's worth it. But absolutely love this. It lasts a really long time. It doesn't project as much as the original because this one is higher in oil concentration, so it definitely sits a little close to the skin, but you can still smell yourself. It lasts on the skin all day long. It's just beautiful. So definitely recommend this, especially if you were not a fan of the original but you felt the FOMO. Try the 46. Next up, we have a fragrance from d'Orsay, and this was another discovery of mine, like a brand discovery. Obviously, I've known about d'Orsay for a very long time, and I've always kind of seen the brand around, never really spent too much time with the fragrances. This year, I really got the chance to sit down with the people from d'Orsay when I was in Cannes for the tax-free. We're actually having a meeting about sniff, to be honest with you guys, and then we smelled everything, and I actually felt like I really got along with the fragrances very well. It kind of reminds me of like a type of brand like Diptyque or a very iconic French brand. And that's why I kind of fell in love with the fragrances. They felt very timeless to me, very interesting, but yet very wearable at the same time. And I just love everything about the brand. So Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Flower Lust was released this year along with 2 other extraits, and I really like the other extrait called Tonka Hysteria, but I would say the one that personally I'm wearing more is Flower Lust. Now, this was created by Dominique Ropion, and this is a really interesting scent, actually. You have a lot of spice in the top. I think there is pink pepper and black pepper, but you also have some florals in the mid. I think there's orange blossom and some yellow florals, and a lot of tonka and benzoin. So it's kind of, it's sweet. It has a sharpness to it in its character. You do feel something floral, but it's been so well blended that you don't really smell certain notes. I would really recommend, if you like that type of scent profile, go and check this one out. Give it a spray, put it on your hand or something. It is really, really beautiful. Is it the best release of 2024? No, not for me, but it is really beautiful, and I found myself reaching for this one when I wanted to smell sexy but still feminine, a little bit floral, something more of like a daring floral fragrance. I was going for Flower Lust. So really beautiful fragrance, definitely recommend it, and it is gorgeous. Next up we have Tilia by Marc-Antoine Barrois. Now, I wore this fragrance actually a lot this year, but I was saying in my other video, the sprayer on Marc-Antoine Barrois is really like that mist. Like, it's very fine, which personally I don't like atomizers like that. I prefer to feel the fragrance like saturating my neck, but this one has a very like misty sprayer. That's why it looks like I didn't wear anything from this, whereas I wore it a lot this year. Now, Tilia is a really beautiful, very airy yellow floral. Yellow florals can feel very dense and very what's the word? How to be nice? They can feel very heady, basically, like a little bit like cat piss for some people. It can be very intense. But in Tilia, they have taken this yellow floral into this super airy and transparent profile, and it's super beautiful, you guys. It's very clean, very wispy. It feels just whimsical in a way. It is really, really beautiful. It is packed full of Givaudan captives. You really feel the Givaudan signature in this scent, and it is really interesting. I feel like Marc-Antoine Barrois, they are really good at creating these, like these very captive, sort of mystical fragrances that you're not really sure what's going on in there, but they kind of feel a little bit out of the universe. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you know, you know. Like, Marc-Antoine Barrois is very creative, and you can really feel that through his scents. So I love Tilia. I absolutely love it. It's very easy to wear. It has a cleanness, it has a crispness, it has that airy yellow floral profile. There's a little bit of heliotrope and a little touch of something sweet. It is really beautiful, you guys. So I definitely recommend this one. If that sounds like your cup of tea, you're going to love this. All of the comparisons with like Fleur Narcotique and stuff, to be honest with you guys, like, I don't see Fleur Narcotique when I smell this fragrance. So personally, I don't get that at all. Another brand that I fell just completely head over heels for this year was Chanel. If you watch my content, then you know that you could probably see that in a lot of my videos, that Chanel just really became like, I just fell in love with it this year. And something that I really want to say is that if you are somebody like me who used to smell Chanel fragrances and think like, what on earth is this? Like, I really didn't like Chanel's DNA many, many years ago. Like, I really didn't like it at all. You would never catch me wearing a Chanel fragrance. I think the only one that I wore was Chanson Fraîche and Sycamore, which they both don't really have like a typical Chanel DNA in the first place. But it took me a really long time to understand the fragrances, but also just see them in a different light. And I feel like this year more than ever, I have been really open to every single olfactive family, every single fragrance, everything basically. I have not really found myself struggling to enjoy any fragrance basically this year. So I feel like my taste has definitely evolved. When you're in this hobby, you grow with it. So for me, I really feel like I've had that experience this year, and I've seen it with Chanel, for instance. I used to really not like their fragrances. Probably in the last 2 years, I started to appreciate them a little more, but this year was like, oh my gosh, like I love them so much. And I ended up purchasing a lot of the Les Exclusives. I have like pretty much most of them actually, and I am head over heels in love. So anyway, coming back to this, Comete was released in 2024, and this is so beautiful, you guys. Like, I'm surprised that more people don't talk about this one, but it is very acquired. It's not going to be for everyone. Comete is a very powdery lipsticky iris. This is powdery lipstick iris with, of course, that Chanel DNA. For me, a lot of the Chanel fragrances, they have a very distinct character to them. Like, you know when you're smelling a Chanel fragrance, so that's never gonna go away. Like, Chanel has this DNA, and that's why I recommend revisiting them maybe every year or so to see if maybe you like them, maybe you're starting to appreciate them, maybe you're starting to see them in a different light. And of course, there's no pressure. The worst thing in the world is to be closed off. The best thing in the world is to be open-minded. So that's really how I go about fragrance as well. And Comete is a very powdery lipsticky iris with a little bit of a red fruity touch and the Chanel DNA. So that's what I would say about this fragrance. It has amazing longevity and projection. This one is going to last really long on the skin, like around 8+ hours on my skin with a really good projection. Another standout for me this year, like a standout for me, is Coco Kimiya from Atelier des Ors. Now, this has become like my favorite fragrance from Atelier des Ors. At this moment, I would say this is my favorite. It is so, so beautiful, you guys, like absolutely beautiful. This, I feel almost, the thing that annoys me is because I feel like I need a special occasion to wear this scent because it's very rich, it's very dense, it's very just incredible, it's opulence, it's so beautiful, it feels very artistic, it's very creative. I absolutely love this fragrance, it is beautiful. What you have is cacao and cardamom, but I definitely feel this kind of sticky coffee vibe in here, like a kind of like a caramel coffee note. It's absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I love this fragrance. It's rich, it's dark, it's dense, it's very creative, very interesting, and I just absolutely love the scent. I think that they did an absolutely amazing job. I have worn this fragrance only a handful of times because I have not owned it for that long, and like I said, for me this is not something that I'm gonna wear every day. Like, I want to wear this going for dinner, I want to wear this on a night out, I want to wear this for a special occasion because it's such a beautiful scent. But it is gorgeous and it lasts a long time on the skin, around 8+ hours with a really good projection. So this for me was a standout this year, especially when you compare it to their other Extrait, which was nice, but I don't think it's as much of a creative, very artistic, beautiful masterpiece of a scent like Coco Kimiya is. So definitely recommend this one. I definitely didn't really find myself pulling for gourmands this year, but if I could highlight like a couple of gourmands that I thought were really great releases, one of them is Saint Honore from Nicolai. Now, this fragrance, well, first of all, this brand releasing gourmands was a little bit strange to me in the first place because Nicolai is a very classic house. It's very timeless. It's very understated luxury, kind of a little bit, if you know, you know. Like, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but like, I feel like perfume lovers, they love this brand, Nicolai. But for them to release like 3 gourmands in like a gourmand collection with this colorful packaging was a little bit off-brand. But I do really think that a lot of you guys, a lot of you gourmand lovers would go crazy for Saint Honore. So you need to try this one. If you trust me, try this fragrance. I think a lot of you that love really fluffy, creamy gourmands are going to lose your minds of this. Now, like I said, I'm not really into my gourmands at the moment. I mostly am wearing a lot of fresh fragrances, a lot of florals, woody fragrances, oud, but Saint Honore is amazing. You guys, this is amazing. In terms of a gourmand, this is a yes for me. What you have in here is a lot of hazelnut. This is very nutty, very creamy, from some sandalwood and a lactonic note as well. You of course have some other additions of like vanilla. Actually, I'm going to check the notes right now on sniff, but I know that there is a lot of hazelnut because you smell it in here. Orange blossom, vanilla, tonka, milky notes, hazelnut, amber, pepper, bergamot, musk, sandalwood. So I would say you definitely just really get this nutty, creamy, milky vanilla, but it is super fluffy. Like, it doesn't feel dense, thick, overly sweet. It is this really fluffy, airy, nutty, creamy, just beautiful gourmand, you guys. A little touch of orange blossom as well. It is so good, so well balanced, so well done in terms of a gourmand. Like, I think it is fantastic. I don't think that we needed 2 other gourmands, but this one is really, really, really good, you guys. So even if it's slightly off-brand for Nikolai to release this, I think they did a spectacular job, and all of you guys that love gourmands, please trust me and put your nose on this one. I think a lot of you will go crazy for it. And the hazelnut actually reminds me a bit of the hazelnut in Guidance, but it doesn't smell like Guidance. But hazelnut, I think, is a big part of the Guidance character, actually. The next fragrance for me was absolutely one of the best releases, but I feel like it slipped under the radar, and it might have been because the brand released another fragrance alongside this one. But for me, this was one of the best, and it is Quattro Pizzi from Casamorati. Wow, this is everything that I love in a floral fragrance. This is spectacular. Quattro Pizzi is a tuberose fragrance. It is tuberose, coconut, tobacco, rum. This is super creamy and iridescent is the word that I would use to describe this scent. The bottle has a slight iridescence to it, and I feel like that perfectly encapsulates the scent. I cannot explain it, but this fragrance feels glowing to me. It feels iridescent on my skin, and I just love this scent. It is so beautiful. You feel a little bit of that tobacco, but it's not smoky, it's not ashy by any means. It is a really smooth tobacco. The tuberose is so beautifully done. The coconut brings this really slightly beachy creaminess, like a little bit of that sunscreen touch, which I personally love. The rum, I don't feel the rum so much myself, but it is so good, you guys. Like, if you like Rouge Malachite, which is one of my favorite fragrances in the world, I think you might like Quattro Pizzi. Of course, get a sample first, but for me, this is so beautiful. Like, I got it, I think, just after summer, and I was so bummed because this was the sort of scent that I would want to wear during the entire summer in Europe. So I think next year for sure I would bring this one on vacation with me and wear it all throughout summer, because this is heavenly to me. It smells like heaven, and I feel like it's really under the radar. People don't really speak about this one, but it is a gorgeous fragrance if you like white florals. Next up, we have a fragrance that I was so excited about when I received this earlier in the year, and I wore it so much during like the middle of the year. But after that, I stopped kind of wearing it because obviously I got a lot of new stuff and I bought a lot of fragrances. So I kind of like, it sat in my collection, but I still love it, and I think it's really one of the best releases of the year is Ylop from Sora Dora. Now, I actually took this one on summer vacation with me this year, and I wore it quite a bit while I was in Corsica. This is such a happy scent to me. This smells like happiness. It is osmanthus, apricot, tea, almonds. It is slightly sweet. Some people pick up this kind of pastry vibe, including myself, like just a little touch of something like a pastry. A touch. Gianni is a full-on pastry. You're literally in the bakery baking with Gianni, but Ylop just has a little dusting of something pastry-like, but you mostly get this beautiful apricot note mixed with some tea, a little bit of almonds, vanilla. It is so beautiful. So beautiful. I love this one. I think it is a really well-balanced, kind of mid-gourmand. Like, it's not a gourmand, but it's on the edge, you know. There is a beautiful sweetness to it that does feel slightly addictive, and it's just so gorgeous, you guys. Super easy to wear, really beautiful. A fragrance that is just so likable. Like, this really makes me happy when I smell it. So definitely one of my favorite releases of the year, Ylop. One of the most like interesting, uniquely addictive fragrances that I discovered this year was Toi 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 Extrait from Ormaie Paris. This is so unique. Like, I have not smelled anything like this in my collection, and I love it so much. I just sprayed it. Oh my gosh, like, this is so, that's all I can say, you guys. This is so unique, and Oh, wow. Like, it's really a wow fragrance. The first time I smelled it, I said wow. Revisiting it right now because I haven't worn it in a couple of weeks, I say wow again. It is so good, you guys. It was actually created by one of my favorite perfumers, Vincent Ricoeur, and I love all of his work. He did most of the fragrances from Stefan Baluka, and he's just an amazing perfumer. And Toi 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 is a little bit of incense. It's kind of ambery. It's kind of fresh. It's woody. I think there's some osmanthus in here. Once again, I'm going to check the notes because this fragrance has so much going on, but it feels so smooth somehow. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, I had a perfume party at my house, which happens sometimes. And I invited a bunch of people from the perfume industry to come over and let's just hang out and have, you know, some food, some snacks, and smell some perfume. And this was the one fragrance that literally everybody simultaneously went, wow, what is that? And anyway, I have the notes here. So there is raspberry, which I don't really get raspberry. I do get osmanthus. There is vetiver, incense, amber, ginger, leather, sandalwood, cedar. So I definitely get a dry aspect from the scent, mixed with that little touch of that apricot-y osmanthus. A very woody presence overall, but not in a dark way. The woods in here are not dark. They almost feel like a slightly kind of tobacco woody vibe, but like a dried tobacco woody vibe. And it's just an amazing fragrance. That's all I can say. If there is, you know, if you are looking for something unique, creative, addictive, something alluring, you have to try Toi Toi Toi. It is fantastic. This is a really cool girl, cool guy type of scent. Another one of my favorite releases this year is from Chloé, and this fragrance is called Orchidee de Minuit. Now, funny story is that I wanted to buy this fragrance. It was sitting in my cart, like the smaller bottle, for a really long time, and I was kind of waiting for like a sale to buy it or something. And then I got sent it the other day. And I also got sent the other two from this collection. But Orchidee de Minuit is the one that I had my eye on for so long because I love this scent. It is so sexy, you guys. So sexy. This is a beautiful floral. You have orchid, jasmine, I think some other florals in there. But you also have a sweetness, like this dark kind of boozy sweetness in here. It is absolutely amazing. You have some resins as well in the base. I think there's benzoin and myrrh maybe, but it is just incredible. Like I said, I just got this one, so I need to wear it. I've only worn it once and not even for a full wear test yet, so let me wear it. But this is absolutely one of my favorite releases. When I smelled it in the store, my eyes rolled back in my head. I love this fragrance. It is an amazing release from the brand. If you like similar fragrances to me, I would really recommend checking this one out. It is beautiful. So Chloé Orchidee de Minuit. Next up, we have a fragrance from Ojar. Now, I really think that this fragrance is going to become their bestseller. I am sure that this fragrance will become a really big hit for them because it is amazing and really, really appealing, you guys. This is their new release called Solar Flair. And I absolutely fell in love with this fragrance. I smelled a sample of it probably about maybe like 8 months ago or so. I smelled a sample of this when they were reworking it. And from the second that I smelled it, I was like, wow, yes, this is a fantastic fragrance. And guys, this one is for all of you that like a slightly sweet, plush floral fragrance. This is so beautiful, you guys. And I really feel like it's going to be a huge hit because it is a floral, but done in a way that can be appreciated by everyone. It's not a really complicated, difficult, hard to understand floral scent. This is absolutely like the most likable fragrance I have ever smelled. It is beautiful. What you have in here is, oh my gosh, some plush florals. It smells kind of like indistinguishable floral notes, like something very plush, something very rounded. You also have some heliotrope in here, which can give off a little bit of an almondy, creamy facet. It does have a creaminess to it, but it's very smooth, a little bit powdery, very plush, and it has this gorgeous honey note in here, which brings this really deep, beautiful sweetness. It is just incredible, you guys. A very plush, almost powdery, creamy floral. oh my gosh, with this amazing sweetness, like absolutely amazing sweetness. I love this fragrance. I think it is going to be, yeah, like I said, a big one for them. And you really should try this one. If that sounds like your type of scent, I am sure you're going to love this fragrance. It is just absolutely beautiful. Solar Flair from Ojar. Another incredible release in 2024 that I don't hear anything about, and I don't know why, is Almond Suede from Arquiste. I absolutely love Arquiste as a brand. I think the brand is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Very creative, high quality, just interesting stuff. He's kind of doing his own thing, Color Super, and I just love everything that he's doing. So Almond Suede was absolutely one of the best releases of the year for me. He worked with Calice Becker, who is known to create really great gourmand scents, and she did something really interesting with Almond Suede. Really interesting. This is not your typical almond at all. This is a very contrasting almond scent. I'm gonna smell it again because I need to get my words together. So this fragrance is so interesting. You have some orange blossom in here and neroli, but you have this beautiful almondy facet, but it's also a little bit smoky. So you have these layers of different elements to this scent. You have this brightness and this bitterness from the orange blossom, but you have this kind of almondy vibe. But then you also have this very intense kind of smoky, dark, airy aspect to the scent as well. So it's sweet, it's smoky, it's bright at the same time, and it is just very, very complex and interesting. I remember when I smelled this on Color Super, I was like, whoa, like you smell insane right now. Like I couldn't believe how good he smelled when he was wearing Almond Suede and on his skin. It pulled very smoky and very dark because there is leather in here, there is saffron, no sorry, it's suede, saffron, and some other notes that make it a little bit more dark, a little bit more mysterious. But then you have that contrast of those brighter notes and this beautiful sweetness as well. Beautiful fragrance, really recommend it. Very creative. It is not your typical almond fragrance at all, and thank God, because I'm so tired of those almond marzipan scents. This is something very special, very unique, and I really recommend it if you like something more creative. Finishing off with what was my absolute favorite release of 2024. Drum roll, guys. I'm sure a lot of you can guess. Estrella de la Manana from Nuit Nomade. Yes, this is absolutely the best release of 2024 in my opinion. And I was speaking with Pierre the other day and we were looking around the room like, what fragrance wowed you this year? And I said two. One of them was not even released in 2024. It was released, I think, 2019 or something. And this was the fragrance in 2024 that blew me away. This is a masterpiece. This is creative, this is complex, this is a territory that I feel like is not often explored. This was daring, this was something that the brand created and was not sure of the success of. They didn't take the easy route and create something that everyone knows will work on the market. They did something daring. And I really respect that because most brands don't do that nowadays, especially brands that are trying to grow. They usually copy and paste and twist things that work on the market. Not Nuit Nomade. They did their own thing and they did it to perfection. This is just spectacular. Nuit Nomade, Estrella de la Manana. This is a rich, dark, smoky, dusty cacao fragrance. It is so complex and beautiful and just... it's heaven to me. It's heaven. There is a really beautiful review of this fragrance on Sniff. If you guys wanted to get a good idea of how this fragrance smells and put an image in your mind, you should definitely read the review because I really feel like he described it so perfectly and he really set this world around the fragrance that really shows you what it smells like. And it's just incredible. You have birch, cacao, I don't even remember what else, vanilla, but it's not gourmand. This is not a gourmand fragrance. This is so much more than a gourmand. It's not sticky sweet. It's not this fluffy, creamy gourmand. This is textured, it's rich, it's dark, it's mysterious, it is artistic, it is creative, and I love it so much. I really think they did something very special with this scent. So absolutely the best release of the year for me. It's powerful, it lasts for hours on the skin, it is just magnificent to me. So this was the best release in my opinion, and I think that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video hearing about the best releases in my opinion. Like I said, let me know what you guys thought was the best release of 2024. I would love to know actually, because I have a really bad memory and I probably remember the last releases of the last 3 days. Like, I really don't have a good memory, so I would love to know what you guys think and what was your favorite release of the year. Thank you guys so much. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.